There is not a single country in the world without debt. Truly, not even one. The national, federal, debt of the United States, that is, the total amount of debt currently held by the federal government, is approximately $38 trillion. This figure has gone down in history as the highest level ever recorded. The European Union's total public debt, that is, the combined gross debt held by its member states, stands at approximately €14.8 trillion, according to the latest data. According to various analyses, the debt of the People's Republic of China has reached levels exceeding 3 times the country's GDP, which translates to approximately $50 to $60 trillion or more. The United Kingdom's public debt is approximately £2.9 to £3.0 trillion. Even oil-rich Arab countries are in debt today. As you can see, the picture is actually very clear. Nearly all countries around the world are in debt. But right here, the question that truly starts to trouble the mind emerges. If the world's major countries are in debt, then who is the money owed to? Who are these massive debts owed to? The Secret History Book channel uncovers yet another mystery at the intersection of history, power, and money. And here, nothing is as simple as it appears at first glance. Debt is not just an economic burden. In fact, it is a foundational pillar of the modern world. Wars, crises, economic booms, and political collapses. They are all built upon this visible structure. And if you follow the trail of the creditors, you arrive at an unsettling truth. The world's great powers are not actually indebted to a single country or individual. The world is, in fact, in debt to itself. Of course, not everyone benefits equally from this system. Today, the total global debt, that is, the combined debt of all governments, corporations, and households worldwide, remains at historic levels. Although different sources and measurement methodologies are used, according to the most recent and reliable data, global total debt has reached a record level of approximately $318 trillion. So how did the world reach this point? The answer is not in loans, credit cards, mobile apps, or digital currencies. It must be sought in global political and military conflicts. In 1694, while England and France were at war, the treasuries were empty, gold and silver had been exhausted. The king was left with 2 options. Either he would lose the war, or he would find a new way. And he found that way by knocking on the door of the merchants. To manage the system of repaying borrowed money with interest, the Bank of England was established. It was a move far ahead of its time. Because for the first time, a state began spending money that did not actually belong to it, money obtained through debt. In return, lenders received something of priceless value, the promise of the state. A promise that could be bought and sold, transferred, and circulated in the market. This is how government bonds were born. And with them, the foundation of the modern financial system was laid. This financial system was first copied by France and later further developed by the Netherlands. The newly founded United States financed its War of Independence using this system. National debt was no longer seen as a sign of weakness. On the contrary, it became proof of credibility. If you could borrow, it meant you were trusted. In the past, empires conquered lands for gold and precious metals. Now, they were issuing bonds for interest. The war has transformed from a military conflict into a financial one. Fast forward 300 years. Debt has become the world's greatest commodity. And the world's governments are borrowing an additional $1 trillion every 100 days or so. But the interesting thing is this. Governments continue to lend money even though they are in debt. Banks, governments, citizens. Through our taxes, our savings, and our pension funds, we are all, at the same time, both debtors and creditors. So who is at the other end of the chain? Let's start with the United States. Because its debt does not concern only itself, it affects the entire world. Roughly half of this debt is held by domestic American investors. The remaining portion of the debt is held by foreign governments. These include the United Kingdom, Japan, the People's Republic of China, and several European Union countries. This represents only a small part of the financial system. In reality, the vast majority of the United States debt is owed to itself. The Treasury issues bonds and funds. Banks purchase them. The Federal Reserve then steps in, buys back Treasury bonds, and increases the money supply in return. Taxes are collected, interest is paid, and that money flows back into pension funds. The system operates as a cycle. And this same system functions in a similar way across many of the world's powerful states. The United Kingdom lends money to the United States. The United States, in turn, extends credit to European countries through the IMF. European countries then lend money to developing nations via the World Bank. Those countries, in turn, reinvest the money back into European government bonds. This is a global financial game. But at the core of this game lie promises. Everyone holds someone else's paper. And there is only one rule that keeps the game alive. No one leaves the table. However, there are more powerful layers that determine who can borrow cheaply and who must pay high interest just to survive. These layers include the markets, pension funds, sovereign wealth funds, and central banks. When trust is lost, money loses its value. Political crises occur and governments fall. The economy changes direction overnight. Democracy decides who will govern. Markets decide who will survive. And the central banks, the actors at the heart of the system, do not just manage debt, they create it. With every bond purchase, new money is generated. One person's debt becomes another person's asset. That's why there is no such thing as debt-free money. Every banknote in your hand carries an invisible IOU. This system has been sustained by trust for decades. It works smoothly as long as it is believed that borrowing states will pay the interest. Repayment of the principal is not even a requirement. But when trust is broken, we saw this in Greece. We saw it in Argentina. We saw it in Sri Lanka. When interest can no longer be paid, the creditors step in. The IMF, credit rating agencies, anonymous bondholders. Then what happens? New debts replace the old ones. The system is restarted. Because in the modern world, debt exists not to be repaid, but to be rolled over with interest. States treat debt like a subscription. They refinance it. Interest is paid like a rent. Debts are never fully repaid, and the system operates cyclically. And no one panics. Because government debt is still the safest collateral in the world. But this arrangement does not provide equal gains for everyone. Interest payments rise upwards. Debt is a transfer not only between countries, but also between individuals. That's why as debt grows, inequality grows as well. And at the end of the day, we face this truth. There is no single culprit. Neither the lending nor the borrowing states. Nor Wall Street. Nor the IMF. Nor the central banks. Debt has become money. Money has turned into a promise. And finance in the world revolves around these promises. But if one day trust is completely broken, this system collapses. And we are reminded of what debt truly is.
Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like and share the video, and turn on notifications so you don't miss new and hidden secrets.